Hello everyone and welcome back to Greyhammer. Today we're going to be working on a whole new zoo that is called the Tri-State Zoo. Now you might be wondering, you've already got quite a few projects going on, how are you kind of doing two zoos at the same time? Well, here's the thing. I'm not doing two zoos at the same time. Unfortunately, my previous zoo file got corrupted. How it happened is during a stream, I basically just kind of forgot to, after the stream was over, save the zoo and exit, so it ran overnight. The next morning, I woke up, logged into my computer just to check on a few things, and I was $2 million in debt in the game, and yeah, that was really quite frustrating. So then I quickly just, looked straight into what kind of things I could do to like load an autosave, and yeah, it didn't work out great for me because when I reloaded the game, half my animals were gone in the trade center, and I couldn't buy new animals in the trade center. Yeah, some of the animals had actually just fully disappeared. Others were just moved into my trade center and were being quite difficult to put back. So yeah, it was kind of difficult to progress when you can't buy any new animals. So I figured I'd start a new zoo, which is something I've had in the brain for a little bit. Just so you know, if you see the logo in the top left, that's going to go away in previous or in future episodes. We're gonna definitely have some improvements to the quality of things. Resolution should be significantly higher in the future. I'm just changing up the way I record during stream. But let's talk about this zoo. So this is the Tri-State Zoo is the name, if you hadn't gathered from the previous, from the title. And what is it exactly? It's really just a small project made by the city of Dothan to take over a kind of dilapidated historical district and just breathe some new life in it with a new kind of attraction that's hoped to bring new people in to southern Alabama. That's where Dothan is. Tri-State is because it's kind of bordering, or at least close to bordering, Georgia and Florida as well, and so we'll be focusing on wildlife of Alabama, Florida, and Georgia as kind of a rescue zoo, and so we're just kind of going to have a bunch of animals that were maybe hit by cars, things like that. Also, maybe exotic pets that were kind of released into their care was released or something like that. Their owner couldn't take care of it. So kind of things like that are going to be the animals that we do. This is in fact a modded series. It's going to use Nexus mods. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a tutorial on how to install mods. It's really not that difficult. I thought it was going to be way more difficult than it was. And then yeah, we're going to really start by kind of explaining what's happening here, because we got some more details about the zoo as well. But you kind of saw me work on the roads, and now we're kind of creating this planter. I wanted to go with kind of a natural bed here, with pine straw and then a bunch of native species, plus azaleas, but you know, what can you do? They're just a great flowering plant, but wanted to get a lot of ferns in there. They do well in low light level conditions, which you get a lot in forest areas. So what exactly, one thing about the Tri-State Zoo, I should say, is it's a member of the ZSU. And what is the ZSU? It is the Zoo Sims United. Now that is kind of a fancy way of saying it's basically an accreditation society, but for people who like to play zoo simulation games. So I'll try and see, maybe I can put a link in the Discord if you want to join the ZSU. It's got all these rules and things that you have to do, like we'll be having some starter animals. One of the main proponents of this on the YouTube was Leaf. He did a lot of work trailblazing this project, though I don't know that he works on it too much anymore. But so yeah, we are in the ZSU, and that's going to basically determine where we're going to have to like trade and buy animals through the shops that are in that Discord server. So it's kind of like franchise, but designed for better. It's designed just better is the goal. Here you can see me kind of working on some road signs. Really enjoy kind of the road signs that we were able to figure out here. So we're doing like a do not enter sign. Went through a few iterations. I always use that base plate. So if we want to talk about a few of the mods that I do have installed, I do have free build. That's definitely one of the ones that is super helpful. If you don't know what it does a whole bunch of things, like allow you to do very narrow paths, allow you to take things that are on the grid and just take them off the grid, which is super useful. It also can be quite intimidating if you're used to playing Planet Zoo in a particular way. We're going to add some scuff marks onto the road to make those lines not look as perfect. But it's going to be some really fun mods. Besides Planet, we also have Planet Zoo Plus as one of the other mods. That does a whole heap of changes. The most important one being that animals don't require as much space. Now we do have animal welfare turned off, but I believe it also changes their hitbox so that they're able to, if they've got the hitbox figured out, then they can move through smaller spaces. They don't need as much space now, which is something that I've really been harping on for a while. If you've been watching my channel, then yeah, that's definitely been a major theme. Some other things about Planet Zoo Plus, it adds a bit more enrichment species, and we'll be able to get albinos a little bit easier, which will be important for some of those exotic pets when people want those exotic morphs and things like that. So, more things about this zoo is it's going to be kind of low budget, like not crazy low budget, but it's going to be kind of funded through things like local universities. The city might give some money for projects, but we'll have to kind of role play as we go. I keep looking at that decal because I've never seen it before, and it's really disturbing. Planet Zoo Plus also unlocks all the rewards from the campaign, so that's kind of why that's in there. So yeah, we just kind of create these scuff marks. Our first building is going to be a gift shop that I don't actually build. I'm going to use one created by one of my subscribers, and that's going to be Monkey's Tavern. He created it for me, but right here we are going to construct a ticket booth, and it's just a little shack really, and using those Zen Pebbles, which are also unlocked through the Planet Zoo Plus. So that's something cool, but we could have just used the blueprint. Also through free build we can use the tool to advanced move ATM pieces, benches, things like that. It is quite useful. So yeah, we're kind of just creating this shaded structure where you can go and buy your tickets. It's going to be pretty nice. And yeah, so a few more things about the city that we're in. So the city that we are in is Dothan, which is in Alabama. It's actually where my mom was born. Fun fact. It is the 5th largest town in Alabama by area and the 8th largest by population. So that's it's kind of the justification for why Dothan is, for one, it's got a lot of historic buildings, and for two, well, it's large enough that it could probably support a zoo with local population, but not too large that it's already a pretty well-established city. Like Mobile would be another southern Alabama town, but that's a very large city. And we're trying to figure out our wood texture here. I was trying to go for like an aged wood, but it just kind of looked like it was painted, and I didn't like it as much. So we kind of go with this newer wood. And then we're going to create a sign that creates kind of our ticket prices and things, even though we're in Sandbox and that's not really a big thing. I'm not going to lie, I really enjoy not having to worry about money. It's quite nice. And so there we got our sign, and we just gotta create the structure for it, doing some custom signs, but I feel like it ends up being pretty good. You might have already seen this on one of my shorts, which I've been working on kind of getting those out there so that y'all can see bits of my streams. It's been something quite fun to do. So we're kind of creating this structure here. I wasn't quite happy with a lot of the pieces here, but eventually we find one. Some other fun facts about Dothan. It is a subtropical region, though we are in the temperate biome. Subtropical really is kind of temperate, but with palms is kind of the best way I can say to describe it. Technically, the area I live in is right on the border between subtropical and temperate, and you would probably know it as temperate, but it also gets quite hot here, up to 100 degrees. So, while yes, it is technically subtropical, it also gets cold. We get a bit of snow as well. So it is a subtropical area, which does mean it does get some storms. It actually gets below average amounts of tornadoes compared to the rest of Alabama, but it still has 79% above the national average amount of tornadoes. So yeah, Dothan, well, Alabama in general, does get a lot of tornadoes. I know people typically think of Kansas for tornadoes, but we do get quite our share of them. So it gets a little bit less than Alabama normally does, but still quite a few. We're kind of creating our area where you can scan your tickets in to get in with your car, because there is an additional parking fee if you want to park inside the zoo, which I'd expect that the parking spots inside the zoo, there's more of them, and the parking lot outside would probably fill up pretty quickly, so we wanted some additional parking inside the zoo. And so a good way to monetize that. So something else you should probably know about Alabama culture is we actually have a very important insect, and it was really quite a terror to the people who lived there, but it actually is considered the savior of the South, and that's the boll weevil. So cotton was a really important crop for the South, pre and post slavery, and so it was used very widely throughout the South. And while it wasn't great for the soil, basically it would take all the nutrients from the soil, and without proper crop rotations, then it would deplete the soil very quickly, and this led the way for the boll weevil to be introduced from Mexico. So it was now able to go in and destroy those cotton crops, and almost devastated the economy of the South until people like George Washington Carver from Tuskegee, another town in Alabama, a very important town of Alabama. We'll not talk about Tuskegee necessarily this episode, maybe in the future if you want to hear more about it. But basically, kind of the peanut became the main cash crop of the South from this point on. And basically, the boll weevil forced farmers to go towards more sustainable farming techniques. And now Dothan was actually one of the southern states that transitioned into peanuts quite quickly, and it became a major transportation hub for peanuts. And even today, 25% of the United States peanut harvest happens within 75 miles of Dothan. So Dothan is very important for peanuts, and so we might even be able to implement that a little bit into our zoo. We're creating this ticket booth here, lining up all this brick. We're using brick and board and batten with some concrete accents. It's going to build our newer building style, which is that board and batten. to the old style, which is that brick and concrete, is going to be really prevalent in this older style. And we can actually just drop an employee in there because we don't care about their happiness. So that's something we're definitely going to be able to do and kind of create the wooden structure here, and it will look like they're manning the ticket booth. So you scan your ticket, and that will allow you the entryway into this zoo, which we don't get too much into in this episode, but we do get a good bit past the entrance. I will be streaming the day that this goes live. If you watch it on Friday, then you're in luck, because I'm going to be streaming tonight, and we'll be trying to get the first animals into this zoo. I'm not going to reveal what they are right here, but let's just say they might be nuisance animals captured through different... well, actually, we're going for a species first that will be a pet, that they weren't able to take care of that pet. But more about them once we actually get to it. So yeah, we're going to create this interior here. I kind of suck at doing interiors, so I do use some blueprints, and give me a bit and I'll talk about them. Yeah, so we use the office props from Peter, and the... sorry, I had it just now. But we use that to make the laptop and some of the like flower pots and things, and we used the it's called the Custom Tables, Shelves, and Chairs by Suzerain. So some really nice pieces there. Yeah, so that's all the ones from Peter that I'm doing here. And then that's the flower pot there, which we'll put a nettle in. Just a small little plant there. Kind of makes this a little bit cozier. And we're actually going to put the laptop here and actually put a screen on it to make it actually look somewhat realistic there. And yeah, that's going to be that for that building. But then I realized it's on the wrong side. So that was quite unfortunate. But we do get to mirror it, basically. We just have a few changes we're going to have to do. But not too bad. And so we'll just delete the interior, because we're going to make this like a storage shed almost. It works pretty well in my opinion. And we can just kind of get these all lined up. We'll do a little path there that doesn't actually do much, or anything really. And we're going to put that wire rack. This is from the ones from Suzerain. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, but you know, it's a made-up name, so I'm not going to be too upset if I pronounce it wrong. Or at least I assume it's a made-up name. Does not match with a linguist, my understanding of any language. That doesn't sound like any kind of language in specific that I know of, or naming convention, I guess I should say. That was a bit of a ramble. But we're going to put these copper roofs in, and it's kind of tricky. I don't know if I like or hate this copper color, but it does kind of give us the old classic theme. Unfortunately, it might look a little bit too European now looking at it from a different time. But we do have copper works here as well, so fun fact, Alabama is actually known for its iron works, not its copper works, but it does have a good amount of iron, just metal work as being part of its history. Maybe we'll talk about the Birmingham steel industry in a future episode. Again, if you want to hear more about Alabama, go ahead and ask me. I do know a bit, as I do live there. And we'll kind of cover that, but we'll also have fun facts about the animals as well, don't you worry. I won't make it all about my state, which I feel like a lot of people don't know much about Alabama, and it's just got kind of a bad reputation, so if I can clear that up whatsoever, then I'll do my best, because I think while we get a bad rap, we do have some pretty cool stuff, including 2 pretty good zoos. We've got the Birmingham Zoo and the Montgomery Zoo. So Birmingham is more central Alabama. Montgomery Zoo is pretty close to central. It's like an hour away from the Birmingham Zoo. So it's not really that far away. But it is more southern Alabama. There is another southern Alabama zoo, but I don't think it necessarily deserves too much of a mention. It's the Gulf Shores Zoo, I believe it's called. I've been a few times. It's not very impressive. Doesn't necessarily have the best for animal welfare, but it does have some cool stories in the fact that they've had to evacuate animals during hurricanes. So that's something cool. I believe, I'm trying to remember, but I think there was a documentary made about it. So yeah, here we are just kind of creating the kind of foot entrance to the zoo. And I really like how we get the brick and the concrete to kind of work here. But I felt like I needed something at the top, so we'll add something onto the top of these later. And then get this metal stuff in. And this will prevent the guest from going on without their tickets. I probably will need to actually create a fence barrier around the edge, because I'm realizing now that it doesn't have that. So we'll add that in a later episode or on a stream. I'll just cover it in the actual like cinematics or something. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit narrow there, but that's probably for the best, because we want to actually get a kind of area where it blocks them from being able to go that way. So they have to actually squeeze through that area instead of just being able to walk straight through. But we probably would want to have staff available to move them along a different footpath if there was someone in a wheelchair or something that couldn't use those gates. So maybe we'll work on that as well in a future episode, because we do want to be considerate of that. That's a point that is important, is we want to be considerate in this zoo. We are going to add one of the buildings that I already told you about. Monkey's Tavern did this for me. We're going to edit it a little bit, mainly through just kind of just trying to figure out exactly, just spruce it up a little bit. So we already we're getting rid of some of the Z fighting. So then we're going to kind of create another parking lot here, and of course, believe it or not, the pathing didn't go the way I wanted it to exactly, but we end up making it work. And then we've got this path will go through here, and we'll probably end this main road here, though maybe not. I'm still really planning the zoo in my head, but we are reaching the end of it. We're almost to the cinematics. Let me know what you think about this new zoo. I really enjoy the new zoo, getting excited about it, but I don't have it planned out as well, so if you have any ideas that you want to do, I do have the first few exhibits planned out, but I'd be very, very happy to hear out any ideas y'all have for the zoo. If you want to create a build that either I can just straight on use, or you'd like to see me kind of update it, like I'm doing here, then go ahead and let me know about them in the workshop. I'll have a link to my Discord in the description, so you can kind of let me know about it through the Discord. And so that's going to be something that I'd like to do, is just kind of have a few buildings that we can put in every once in a while, just created by viewers that maybe don't serve the exhibit need, but we can actually just use to kind of fill out our zoo. So we'll have to create a background for the zoo as well, so that will be useful there. We're kind of creating crown molding and baseboards here. So I'm going to put in a ceiling here. We're going to make that pink color, and then we're going to put the crown molding, and here we are at the cinematics. So I'll leave you to it. Bye guys. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.